Why do you always grab your crotch?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Michael Jackson did it. Jay-Z did it. Eminem did it. Thousands of performers still do it today. Men keep grabbing their crotch on stage. Most people assume it's swagger or shock value or just something that happens when the beat drops. But the real story goes back 500 years. To kings, to soldiers, to ancient superstition and the oldest human instinct in the book. And to one night in 1991 when 500 million people watched television and somebody had to make a very uncomfortable phone call to Fox headquarters. What looks like a modern stage gimmick turns out to have a stranger history than almost anyone realizes. Act 1, the ancient signal. Let's start somewhere uncomfortable. Our closest primate relatives, chimpanzees, baboons, use genital display as one of their primary signals of dominance and social status. It is not identical to what happens on stage, but the underlying logic is the same. Draw attention to the groin, and you are communicating power without throwing a single punch. And that behavior did not disappear when humans stood upright. It just got dressed up. In the remote highlands of New Guinea, certain tribes that developed in near-total isolation still wear the koteka, a hollowed gourd worn over the genitals, positioned not to conceal them, but to be seen. Anthropologists have linked it to status, identity, and masculine display, associated with power and presence rather than indecency, as we understand that word today. Skip forward to 16th century Europe, and the same underlying instinct shows up wearing considerably nicer fabric, the codpiece. European men of that era padded, shaped, and decorated their codpieces to draw attention to the groin, not disguise it. Different culture, different context, but the same basic message, the groin as a symbol of power. At their peak around 1540, some were stuffed and embroidered with gold thread. Spanish conquistadors wore them into battle. Henry VIII's are practically famous. And in Italy, a tradition dating back to ancient Rome, still practiced in parts of the country today, involves grabbing your crotch to ward off the evil eye and bad luck. Anthropologists call it an apotropaic gesture, one designed to ward off harm. The groin is considered the seat of life force and fertility. Something bad happens nearby, and you reach for it to keep the good stuff protected. In 2008, Italy's highest court upheld a fine against a man who did it in public. His lawyer said it was a costume problem. The court was not persuaded. So by the time rock and roll exploded onto mainstream stages in the 1950s, this gesture had been part of the human vocabulary for millennia. It was already built into us. All it needed was the right person to bring it into the spotlight. Act 2, the lineage, James Brown to Michael Jackson. When rock and roll arrived in America, it came out of black music, blues, gospel, rhythm, and blues, where the body was always part of the performance. James Brown turned live performance into total body theater. He sweated through multiple outfit changes in a single show, collapsed on stage and got back up, and moved in ways that made television censors deeply nervous. That raw physicality shaped everyone who came after him. Elvis drew heavily from the same traditions, and by the time Elvis made his final appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show in January 1957, television executives had seen enough. Camera operators were ordered to film him strictly from the waist up. America's living rooms were apparently not ready for what was happening below. Michael Jackson grew up watching James Brown. He idolized the man. By most accounts, he essentially auditioned for Motown with a James Brown impression at age 10. Brown was the root. Everything grew from there. Many Jackson archivists and fan historians trace the first clearly deliberate crotch grab in a live performance to the last night of the Victory Tour in Los Angeles in 1984. He was 25 years old. The crowd reaction was immediate. Jackson noticed. He brought it back. By the bad era, it was a fixture. By dangerous, it was a signature. And here's something that does not get mentioned often enough. As a dance move, it works on a purely technical level. A sharp downward hand movement to the center of the body creates a visual focal point. It syncs precisely with a strong downbeat, and it makes the entire body look more controlled and powerful. Choreographers call this center lining. Jackson understood it instinctively. But when people asked him why, he gave one of the most memorable non-answers in interview history. In his 1993 interview with Oprah, one of the most watched television interviews of that decade, she asked him directly, and he said, "The music does it."
It's the music that compels me to do it. There's a driving bass, you become the bass. So if I'm doing a movement and I go bam, and I grab myself.
He called himself a slave to the rhythm. Most people did not buy it. His own fans debated it on forums for years. If it was genuinely involuntary, Why did it land in the same spot, in the same choreographed routines, night after night? But maybe both things can be true at once. Maybe the music really does move you, and after a while you start working it into the choreography because you know exactly what it does to a crowd. Act 3, the night 500 million people watched. November 14th, 1991. Michael Jackson's new single Black or White premieres on Fox, sandwiched between The Simpsons and Drexel's Class. Around 500 million people watch it across 27 countries. Fox logs their highest Nielsen ratings to that point. The first 9 minutes are broadly uncontroversial, a message about racial unity and some of the earliest celebrity use of morphing technology most audiences had ever seen. Then comes the final 4 minutes. Jackson morphs from a Black Panther into himself, and he dances, alone, in a dark alley. And within 30 seconds, every switchboard at every Fox affiliate in America lights up. He grabs himself, repeatedly. The camera zooms in. He unzips. He smashes a car windscreen. He breaks a hotel window. Then it cuts. A Fox insider told Entertainment Weekly, it was not just that he grabbed his crotch, he was rubbing it. Memphis affiliates vowed never to re-air the segment. The BBC cut roughly 30 seconds from the UK premiere. Critics called it obscene. Some called it marketing genius. Jackson issued a public apology within days. He said he was expressing the animalistic instincts of a panther. The album Dangerous went to #1 anyway. But what that moment did, beyond the controversy, was cement the crotch grab as the single most recognized gesture in modern performance. Every rapper, every R&B artist, every dancer who watched that video knew exactly what it meant, and a lot of them used it. Act 4, the hip-hop inheritance. By the time hip-hop was filling arenas in the early 1990s, the crotch grab was part of the furniture. You showed up on stage, you grabbed. It was assertive, it was masculine, it said to the crowd, I own this room. Most people assumed it was pure confidence, and then Jay-Z went on NPR's Fresh Air in 2010 and flipped the entire narrative. He told host Terry Gross that the grab has nothing to do with confidence. It is the opposite. In hip-hop, he explained, the record comes out before the artist ever learns to perform. A guy records a hit in a studio, and 6 months later he is standing in front of 50,000 people who know every word, and he has never performed in his life. And when you get up there, he said, you feel naked, exposed. So your body looks for something to hold on to. You cover yourself. The bravado, the tough posture, the aggressive grab, is a man trying to hide the fact that he is terrified. That is what we want you to believe, he told her, when she said she had assumed it meant confidence. Which means that for decades, the move audiences read as pure confidence was, in many cases, a nervous reflex. The oldest instinct there is, feeling exposed and reaching for cover. If you are still with me, hit subscribe if you have not. This is exactly the kind of thing we dig into. Act 5, the science and the double standard.
How do you all feel about Michael grabbing his crotch in those videos?
I don't like that.
Well, Riri, it's just part of his dancing.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, but I don't like that.
Here's the thing about Jackson's slave to the rhythm defense. It has more scientific backing than most people realize. Researchers who study what they call groove, the physical urge to move when you hear certain music, have found that it is real and measurable. Heavy bass, syncopated rhythm, the kind of beat that sits just right in the pocket, these activate reward and motor circuits in the brain and trigger a genuine dopamine response. Your body wants to move in ways that other music does not produce. Now, the science does not explain why someone reaches for their crotch specifically, but it does support the idea that a driving bass line can push a performer into physical impulses they would not have sitting quietly in a chair. The specific gesture is learned. The urge underneath it is real. And then there is Madonna. In 1989, in the Express Yourself video directed by David Fincher, she wore a pinstripe suit and a monocle, grabbed herself, and moonwalked. It was a deliberate statement. A woman in a man's suit doing a man's move entirely on her own terms. Critics called it crude, unladylike. The same move that made Michael Jackson the king of pop earned Madonna a censorship column in the newspaper. She pointed this out directly. She never apologized. And at the 2025 Grammy Awards, a young singer named Benson Boone went viral for a particularly aggressive grab during his performance. He posted on Instagram the next morning, "Sorry for adjusting my jumpsuit so aggressively. It was extremely restricting in certain areas." Whether that was instinct, choreography, or genuinely the costume, the result was the same as it has always been. Nobody could stop talking about it. From New Guinea tribesmen to Henry VIII's wardrobe, to James Brown's footwork, to Michael Jackson's 1991 television controversy, to a young singer apologizing about his jumpsuit at the Grammys. The story is basically the same every time. It is about power, about presence, about standing in front of a crowd and making sure they know you are there. Sometimes it is bravado. Sometimes it is nerves dressed up as bravado. Sometimes it really is the costume. But it was never random. The next time you see a performer grab his crotch on stage, you are not just watching a dance move. You are watching 500 years of history compressed into a fraction of a second. If you found this interesting, a like genuinely helps other people find it. And if there is a topic you think we should dig into next, leave it in the comments. We actually read them.